Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Nice seeing you guys. Obviously, coming off of Saturday, we're very excited about the win that we had here at Willie B. It was really awesome just to be in front of our home crowd and for the first time since the Tennessee game. But it was very exciting. Proud of the defense. It just we had some adversity early in the game, and then we kind of settled down, got some things going. Just proud of how they went out there and had 9 straight possessions without points. The whole thing was get the ball back to the offense, get the ball back to Spencer, and watch him do work. And so we found a way to get that done. And didn't like the 21 points, but excited about the win. The guys are thrilled this weekend for our challenge and opportunity to go to Athens and play some football on Saturday. And looking forward to this weekend. Any questions?
Clayton, Jalen's in there for Nick, but when Nick eventually comes back, do you look at Jalen at other spots? Is he strictly more a backup at that point? Can you kind of move him around when Nick comes back?
Yes, everything's collective back there with those guys, and we're trying our best to be as versatile as possible with most of our guys. Nick and DQ can move around. Jalen's probably trying to, everybody's different. He'd probably be stuck in one position.
I know you faced Brock Bowers a couple times already, but what's kind of the challenge in trying to cover a guy like that?
Yep. He's a weapon. I love to tip my hat when guys have put in the work to improve their game, and he's actually gotten better on some things from a line of scrimmage standpoint. He's still dangerous with the football. We got to do a great job of rallying and make sure we got a body on him, make sure he's not running down the field, able to build up his speed and make sure we keep a body around him. He's a great player.
Shane was in here yesterday talking a little bit about the challenge of scouting a quarterback that doesn't have a lot of tape that you haven't faced. What goes into that for you as a defensive coordinator?
Yep. You have to just do your homework. You go back to the high school tapes. You go back to things from a recruiting standpoint. A lot of us, someone on this staff knows him. Someone on this staff was part of the recruiting process. And, you want to see the film is out there. Obviously, he had the spring game, and he played in our game last year. But you definitely want to do all the homework you can on a brand-new quarterback for his strengths and weaknesses. And he's a talented guy who has a skill set, can run, can throw, and has a lot of weapons around him.
Clayton, kind of sticking with that, but as a defensive coordinator, not asking you to reveal the entire game plan, but what can you do to just kind of maybe change the picture for him a little bit and confuse him in his first SEC start?
I would say the first thing is let's make sure we get lined up, get our cleats in the ground, and make sure we're stable, make sure our eyes in the right spot, and we got the right leverages, and we understand what they're trying to present to us as well. Obviously, you got disguises, you have movement, you have things where you can show one coverage and play another. Obviously, the normal things, but he's well coached and he's a smart player, so you gotta try not to outsmart yourself.
Clayton, we obviously saw the performance from Debo Williams the other day, but it seemed like the linebacker core, especially as the game went on, they played an important role. How important will they have to step up this week, knowing that Georgia likes to run the ball, the pin and pull, all that kind of stuff?
Yep. I truly believe if you're a linebacker in the SEC, you have to have a certain makeup about you, certain DNA, and I love how those guys they have those intangibles that you want from an off-the-field standpoint. Obviously, when we go out there on Saturday, we have to do a great job of leverage and understand their perimeter plays, understand their inside plays, tracking the back and seeing the tight ends on the wheel routes, the running backs out the backfield. We missed one last year, and let's make sure we're great on those things and let's be very cerebral and make sure we understand the big picture of the defense and what they're trying to present as well.
For the defensive line, as far as being a little more productive in the second half last week, was there anything specific that changed? Or apparently Boogie had a speech on the sideline that got guys fired up. Was anything that you can point to that you noticed that way?
Not anything particular. We really just got a feel for what they was doing, and then our guys kind of got the tempo. And Furman's if anyone was surprised of how they came out, you don't follow FCS football. They're one of the best teams out there. They always give Power 5 teams a challenge, and then we just had to, once we got a feel for it, our guys kind of picked up their play, and then we kind of finished it and did a good job with it. But the Boogie did get some type of speech. I walk away when players do players-only stuff because when I was a player, I hated when the coach was trying to snip and listen and sitting at the door and all that stuff. So I walked away, and whatever he said definitely helped.
Clayton, Marcellus was in here talking yesterday about he gave up a cheap one against Furman, but outside of that play on the double pass, what have you seen from him kind of in that number one corner role this year?
Surprised to hear he was in here talking. He's pretty quiet, but we love Marcellus. He's a great kid, and I think for me, it's his attention to detail in the meeting room, at practice, and trying his best to take his game to another level. Every kid, each year you can improve in multiple ways. I think his challenge has been just to improve the details and things, that, the smaller things that are actually huge at that position.
Okay, with the injuries you guys are kind of dealing with at nickel right now, is there any talk of kind of shuffling the DB room around a little bit? I know like DQ talked about having repped at nickel a little bit in preseason and all that.
Yes, once we kind of realized what Nick and DQ and some of those guys, their versatility, we've always rotated guys around just to make sure our room is versatile, and so we can't get handcuffed or jammed on a situation with some injuries. And unfortunately, we have injuries. Guys are kind of nicked up, but they should be fine. Can't wait to, I just love watching those guys in the summertime playing multiple positions. It just makes you a better player.
Clayton talking about some of the injuries, and it's obviously affecting both sides of the ball. And we just listened to Dal with the offensive line. Some of these younger players, especially the true freshman, Jalen Kilgore got in there week 1. He's done a nice job. Pup's coming along. What can you tell us about some of these freshmen and just where they're at right now as they head into week 3 and they've been able to get some game experience and practices under their belt?
I can see those guys getting better every single day, and just how we practice. They're getting more reps. They're seeing formations better. They're seeing motions better, and they're seeing the things that in high school it just may be simple formation, one defense, no checks, very little motion. But here is things a little bit faster. Everybody's a lot better, so I think they're getting a lot more used to the competition and just the speed of the game.
Sticking with Jalen specifically, what is it about him that made him ready to play immediately in week 1?
Really, our player personnel guy, Taylor Edwards, always speak on the guys who are physically ready to play. Those are the ones that you have to just throw out there, and they're going to make mistakes. And Jalen Kilgore was a freshman that came in. He was almost 200 pounds, so he did a lot of lifting, a lot of stuff in his high school to where he's physically ready to play, just like Pup. The guys are physically ready to play. Are they there from an IQ standpoint? They're grinding at it, yes. But to me, the main thing that he's physically able to tackle another human being by himself. So that makes it very, very easy to play early.
Coach Beamer had a lot of high praise the other night for Kawhi Banks. What have you seen from him as he's developed in his second year here?
Yep. A lot of times when guys, you play a reserve role, and there's times that you may get down, your attitude may be down, your body language may be not where it needs to be. But I would say Kawhi Banks, he kept it upbeat about himself. He keeps a smile on his face. You know exactly what you're going to get from him, so that helps in regards to just preparing yourself for that moment. And then when his number was called in the UNC game, he made a big play for us. He's trying to learn multiple positions like Nick and DQ and David Spalding and Keenan Nelson. So those guys are making them better, and there's high standards here. I'm a high expectation football coach. Don't do a lot of yelling, but we have very high expectations and very high standards, and something I can just look at you and you know that I'm disappointed or you know that I'm happy. So, but he's grown a lot, and it makes us proud.
Clayton, Boogie was in here yesterday too, talking about needing to create more havoc plays, a lot of negative plays for the other offense. Is that just something schematically you guys can tweak, or is it just come down to guys making a play when the play presents itself?
Not surprised Boogie was talking, but it's really a mix, to be honest with you. Like, naturally, if I call a football game, you get between 6 and 10 TFLs. So, right now those aren't coming naturally. So we got to find ways to help them and vice versa. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.